This is a special meeting of Budget and Finance Committee. We have a quorum. Item 1 is an ordinance that is presented by the mayor that would provide, as I understand it, a 12-month payout if should the city manager decide to resign of his own accord. Roll call and passage of item 1.
Murray?
Yes.
Seelbach?
No.
Sittenfeld?
No.
Smitherman?
Yes.
Young?
No.
Mann?
Yes. The ordinance fails.
Yes.
Item 2 provides the 8-month option. Roll call and passage of item 2.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Seelbach?
So the only thing on this one that I would like to make an amendment, I believe the original agreement that expired between the mayor and the manager was a 2-week agreement. So I think what we need to put an end date on this so that it's not, so that if the manager in 6 months finds a new job and leaves, that he also doesn't get an 8-month severance check. So what I'd like to do is amend this to expire in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks?
I think that was the original time frame of the mayor and the manager's agreement, the first agreement. So, I mean, I'm open to other time frames, but I thought we need some kind of, this expires at this date. So
Item 1, the 12-month had an expiration of April 30. Would that be acceptable?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Young?
just a quick question. If we don't do anything, what are the terms of the manager leaving? If he left next year, would he still get a severance?
No. His original ordinance under which we hired him does not provide for any payment if he decides to leave his own accord.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Ms. Murray?
So I would agree with Councilmember Seelbach if we added it maybe to April 30th, the same as we had for ordinance number 1.
Okay. So unless there's objection, we'll accept that friendly amendment. Roll call and passage with the amendment.
Denard?
Yes.
Murray?
Yes.
Seelbach?
Yes.
Sittenfeld?
Yes.
Smitherman?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes. And by the way, Mr. Landsman is excused from this committee meeting. I should have mentioned that. There being no further business, the committee is adjourned.
I promised everybody, many people have other time commitments today, that we will, as soon as we're ready, call the special session and call a vote immediately so that people who have to run out to other events can do so, and then take any commentary after the vote.
They made, and we'll just have to change it later.
Yeah, we'll just change it later, it's fine. We will begin this special session of City Council, and the clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Sittenfeld,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smitherman,
Present.
Councilmember Young,
Here.
Councilmember Denard. Here. Councilmember Mann,
Here.
Councilmember Murray. Here. Councilmember Pastor,
I see.
Councilmember Silbott.
Here.
Will you all stand for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 1, first reading, and we only have one item on the agenda.
Emergency ordinance establishing the terms for the resignation of the city manager.
Suspension.
Councilmember Sittenfeld,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smitherman,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Denard. Yes. Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Murray,
Yes.
Councilmember Pastor,
Yes.
Councilmember Silbott.
Yes.
And passage.
Councilmember Sittenfeld,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smitherman,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Denard. Yes. Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Murray,
Yes.
Councilmember Pastor,
No.
Councilmember Silbott.
Yes.
An emergency.
Councilmember Sittenfeld,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smitherman,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Denard. Yes. Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Murray,
Yes.
Councilmember Pastor,
No.
Councilmember Silbott.
Yes.
Passes.
Passes. Is there anything else come before us?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Steelback.
Just one comment. Obviously, this does not settle things, and accusations have been made, and I'm sure that more will come out. Just a word to city employees. We want to hear from you. The council wants to hear from you. The public wants to hear from you, and that means if you have complaints about the city manager or the mayor or one of us or a department head, we want to hear your voice. We want you to have a safe and healthy work environment. And if you don't, we want to hear about it. A note of caution, though. We want to also depoliticize what's happening here. And so just a word of advice. There will be a time for your voice to be heard in these chambers or potentially through an independent investigator. But I hope that you will not further politicize this by standing at press conferences with either the mayor or the manager or one of us and try to take this to a professional level that it has not been by speaking to the people who make the decision on the role of the city manager, which is all 9 of us on city council. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we are adjourned.
What are your thoughts on it? Tell it, first of all, for those, what just happened? What just passed?
Well, what just happened is we put into an ordinance that if the manager leaves by the end date on the ordinance, which I believe is April 30th, he will get 8 months severance. After that, there is no severance.
What are your thoughts about the passage and how things are unfolding?
Well, I don't really know that it's necessary, but I don't see that it hurts anything, and that's the reason I voted for it.
The idea of the mayor going forward with having people testify or come forward with their concerns about the manager, a good idea, bad idea, and why?
I think it's always a good idea to listen to employees when they have issues in the workplace. I think it's a bad idea to solicit those kinds of comments in the way that the mayor's gone about doing it. It's just a continuation of his vendetta against the city manager. That's what needs to stop. I don't want to see employees used to get the city manager. But people who have legitimate complaints certainly need to be heard. But as Mr. Seelbach said, we need to depoliticize this and work on this in a professional way. And we've seen no professionalism so far, except on the part of the city manager, who I think has conducted himself quite well. You probably noticed yesterday, he offered an olive branch that the mayor did not accept. I don't know that that reflects well on the city. In my opinion, it does not. But it does tell me we have a professional city manager who's willing to put aside whatever his feelings are in the best interest of the city. That's the example we all need to follow.
With all that's going on with FC and the stadium and just all the other city business, what do you say to the voters out there, the taxpayers, the citizens, about what's functioning or not functioning here at City Hall?
Well, actually, in spite of all the hype to the contrary, the city's business is getting done. Trash is still getting picked up, potholes are still being filled. We're still arguing about things that we don't even have on our plate yet, like FC Cincinnati. So the reality simply is that what needs to happen at City Hall is happening. There is a major distraction, and that is the activity of the mayor around his wish to get rid of the city manager and the unprofessional way that he's going about it. That's the circus atmosphere. But this is totally created by Mayor Cranley. He has all the cards, and he could end this right away if he wanted to, simply by walking away. He refuses to do it.
What's your advice to the manager?
My advice to the manager is stay the course.
You said about a week ago that you didn't think the city manager should get 15 cents or something like that. Is this different from that position, and what made you change your mind if it is?
Well, I haven't changed my mind. I was always of the opinion that that 8-month severance was what he should get. I wasn't for him getting more than that. So there's no way I would agree to $400,000 or 12 months or whatever. I'll agree to the 8 months. I think that was always what was on the table. That was fair.
What's the status of the idea of your concern about a bribery allegation?
Well, I said I wouldn't talk about that until after I've had the conversation with the necessary officials. I haven't had that conversation yet. Due to the sensitive nature of that, that's all I have to say.